Episode 243, Why AI Models Hallucinate.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI 6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
Have you ever wondered why AI large language models, or LLMs, make things up? That's called an hallucination. OpenAI's core argument is that hallucinations are not just an odd side effect of transformer models or messy data. They are, in fact, an expected outcome of the way we train and evaluate these AI systems. Hello and welcome back to AI 6, the podcast that teaches you AI in just 6 minutes a day, taking away the overwhelm. So this is a really interesting study from OpenAI, but before I go through it in more detail, let's hear from Parth Knows AI on Instagram.
Why can't AI models just say, I don't know, instead of lying? Researchers at OpenAI just dropped this paper last week, which cracked the code on why this happens. And here's what they discovered. They asked the world's smartest AI models one simple question. What's Adam Kaleo's birthday? Now, you might be saying, I have no idea who that is, or I don't know when his birthday is. But these billion-dollar models gave 3 different answers across 3 attempts. March 7, June 15, and January 1st. Of course, all completely wrong. So why didn't the model just say, I don't know? Think about birthdays. Einstein's birthday is all over the internet, so AI nails it every time. But some random researcher, that info barely exists online. So AI just makes that stuff up. And the researchers prove that if a fact only appears once in the training data, the AI will hallucinate about it at least 20% of the time. But it gets interesting. They discover that AI models don't hallucinate because they're broken. They hallucinate because that's exactly what our evaluation system trains them to do.
So this report published by OpenAI was revealed in September of 2025, and it's titled, Why Language Models Hallucinate. It explains that LLMs tend to hallucinate or generate confident but incorrect information because they're training and evaluation reward guessing over admitting uncertainty. Do you remember doing your maths exams at school and you were always taught, just attempt it because you get marks for attempting? It's sort of the same thing with AI. But let me give you the more technical explanations. So OpenAI frames large language models like, as I said, students in an exam. If a student is sitting a test where they get points for answering and no points for leaving something blank, a lot of students will chance it, even if they're not sure, because guessing raises the chance of scoring something. And we know the AI models want to please. Their training and evaluation pipelines reward them for producing an answer. They do not get a reward for saying, I don't know. Even more, in most benchmarks, refusing to answer counts as a fail. So, from the model's point of view, bluffing is rational. An uncertain guess can still lift the score. We have built models to be good test takers, not essentially good truth tellers. Now, OpenAI does not say training data errors don't matter. They do. If the internet contains wrong facts, models will absorb some of them. But the paper argues something stronger and more uncomfortable. Even with perfect data, hallucinations would still happen. Why? Because the model generates language one token at a time, choosing the next word based on probabilities. That statistical process inevitably makes mistakes, especially when a question is rare, ambiguous, or has no stable pattern in the data. So they translate this into a neat learning theory framing. In effect, a model is constantly running a hidden yes or no classifier in its head. Is this next token part of a valid answer or not? If the classifier cannot reliably tell the difference between true and false continuations in some areas, errors will slip through in the generated answer. Hallucinations, therefore, in their view, are simply a subset of those generative errors. And here's another finding. The rarer a fact is in training data, the more likely the model is to hallucinate about it. If a piece of information appears once or only a handful of times, the model has weak statistical grounding. So, it fills the gap with whatever looks plausible. This helps explain why models are usually fine on everyday knowledge and shaky on obscure names, local policy details, niche research, or very new events. OpenAI gives some examples. They asked multiple models about the title of one author's PhD dissertation and got confident, detailed answers that were all wrong. That is not because the model is being mischievous. It's because the scoring environment nudges it to say something rather than admit uncertainty. So what is this paper recommending? They say the main lever is not some magic new architecture. It's changing how we evaluate models. Right now, leaderboards are dominated by benchmarks that use binary scoring, right or wrong. No credit for caution. No credit for I'm not sure. So the field optimizes for the wrong thing. Their first recommendation is to rework benchmarking and grading so accuracy and honest uncertainty are rewarded. In other words, treat a careful refusal as better than a confident falsehood. Second, they suggest training models to say, I don't know more often when they are unsure. And I actually did this with my AI assistant, Paulbot. I asked her to be explicit and to tell users that when she did not have an answer or that she was not 100% certain, that she would be honest and explicitly tell us. But OpenAI say they are realistic about the trade-off. If a model abstains more, some users will feel it is less helpful. The tension between helpfulness and honesty is not going away. Thirdly, they point out something that I think marketers, comms people and policy teams need to hear clearly. Some real-world questions are inherently unanswerable by a large language model. If the knowledge just is not in the data in a clean form, or the question is too underspecified, the responsible behaviour is to signal uncertainty, not to fabricate. So what does this mean for us as AI users? Well, we should keep treating AI output as a draft, not a source, especially on anything high stakes or niche. And the paper produced by OpenAI gives us scientific reason for that instinct. Models are structurally pushed to guess. If OpenAI and the wider field really do shift benchmarks to reward honesty, expect models to become a bit more cautious over time. That might feel less smooth at first, but it is a healthier direction for trust. Hallucinations are not some ghosts in the machine. What we've learned in this episode is that they happen when you teach a system that guessing beats admitting uncertainty. And if we want models that are more reliable, we need to stop giving them gold stars for bluffing. I loved reading this paper and I loved understanding more about hallucinations. Now it makes more sense to me. And now I'm going to be even more firm with any model that I train. If you enjoyed this episode of AI 6, please share it with a pro that you know. And if you want to get some help on AI, whether it's with strategy or training or inviting me to be a guest speaker, then get in touch. You can book a call in my calendar at digitaltraining.ie, or if you're working in government or public sector, jump on to publicsectormarketingpros.com. And don't forget, if you haven't got my book, AI Playbook, you can get it on Amazon or at aimarketingplaybook.ie. That's it for today. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.